High School for Section 6 4A baseball, a second-round game winners bracket game between the number 4 seed, the Armstrong Falcons, and the number 1 seed and defending champion, the Wayzata Trojans, both with identical 12-7 records coming in. I'm Jay Wilcox along with Drew Keogh, and Drew, boy, the top 4 seeds in this section, pretty comparable seasons. All of them are solid. None of them had, lights out seasons, but all of them pretty good. They kind of took turns beating each other, and this a regular season matchup that was supposed to happen but didn't because of rain a couple of times. So now we'll finally get to see the Trojans and Falcons.
Yeah, I was going to say these two teams know each other quite a bit, pretty well. They've playing against each other growing up, and then in the summer, and not being able to play in the regular season this year. But here they get a chance to square off against each other. And Jay, you were talking 12-7, a number 1 seed, 12-7, and number 4 seed. I think once the section meeting was over and everybody voiced their opinion, everybody agreed pretty much 1 through 4 was a toss-up.
Here's the lineup for Brian Sobiak and the Armstrong Falcons. Tyler Schell, the DH, will lead it off, followed by Jordan Page. Then it's Bjorn Jensen, Drew Ide, Nathan Pertla, the third baseman, Bo Human in right field, James Larson at second base, Tyler Fliss catching, and Adam Bewan at first base. Blake Ask, the righty on the mound for Wayzata here this afternoon. He has been their ace this season. First pitch fouled away by Schell. And a little tapper. This will be a tough chance on the left side. A little hesitation. That's going to be an infield hit, and now the ball bouncing away, and Schell is going to go for second, and he's going to get there. Call that an infield hit, and then a throwing error, E5, to move him to second. And Armstrong quickly gets a runner into scoring position as we look at the defense for that's Armstrong's D right there. And Wayzata, yeah, they got Josh Gullickson at third, Keegan Nickel at short, Cullen Stamp at second, Carter Tibbetts at first, Ben Leitner, Brendan Albert, and Max McCarthy in the outfield, Brandon Brolin catching, and as we said, Blake Ask doing the pitching. So Armstrong with Schell moving up to second, a single and then an error, putting the Falcons in a good spot right away. And here's Jordan Page stepping in. Page had a good game in the opener of the playoffs as they defeated Southwest. Ask this year has pitched 42 innings. He's 5-0 and a 1.33 earned run average. It's allowed 36 hits in those 42 innings. There's a strike with 8 walks and 29 strikeouts. Kind of the one guy that they returned the most experience with as a pitcher, and they expected him to be their ace this year, and that's proven to be the case. So Jordan Page hitting at .298. He scored 13 runs, knocked in 6. So a 2-1 count here to Page with Bjorn Jensen waiting on deck. And Armstrong got a chance to play a playoff game and on this field. So sometimes you always wonder, is that by a good thing or not a good thing? And Armstrong, they were glad to get their feet wet a little bit out here and get started in the tournament the other day. Of course, if you don't play very well, then it's a different question.
I mean, obviously it turned out good for them, but yeah, to get that first game under your belt and playing on this field, getting comfortable coming in here against Wayzata, they have a little bit of momentum, whereas Wayzata had a little time off, and they're coming in a little maybe a little cold compared to Armstrong, and Armstrong off to a good start here in the top of the first.
Page draws a walk, so first and second, nobody out, and Bjorn Jensen will step up. He's had a nice season for the Falcons, hitting .467. He's knocked in 14 runs, which is a team high total. He scored 17, which also leads the team. 1 double, 1 triple to his credit.
That's one heck of an average to carry into the playoffs here.
And he's getting on base just a shade under half the time, .492. Back up the middle it goes. This might be 2. There's 1 and 2, and the Trojans turn a quick double play. Schell does advance to third, but boy, that's just what the doctor ordered if you're Wayzata, as they get the force play easily and get the double play on Jensen. That's one of those where you say, geez, if I just would have hit this one somewhere a little bit different, but Nickel had just a tailor-made easily double play ball there.
You said a tailor-made, perfect bounce right up the middle, ball just on the other side of the second base, catches it, makes a good swipe of the bag with his feet, keeps his momentum going towards first, and gets that second out pretty easily. So now here Armstrong had a good chance to put themselves up early. Now Wayzata's just 1 out away from getting out of this jam. They were willing to play small ball, but now they're not in that position.
Drew Ide hitting batting .409 this year, 6 runs batted in. Cut and a miss at that one, 1-1. Perdola waiting on deck here for the Falcons. And that one sliced back foul. And we said familiarity here for Armstrong getting to play a playoff game. Well, Wayzata played the last regular season game right here on this field against Hopkins, beat the Royals, got a tie for the Lake Conference title, and I think that win probably earned them the #1 seed as well. So they certainly not unfamiliar with this spot either.
Yeah, I think you're right. That last game did come down to determine the conference champion and also the #1 seed for this section.
1-2 pitch here from Blake Ask is out wide of the plate. So 2-2 now as Drew Ide tries to keep the inning going, and for Armstrong's sake trying to knock in the first run of the game if possible here as Shell aboard at third. Breaking ball to center, and it's going to drop in for a hit, and Armstrong is on the board. Drew Ide singles to center to start the scoring here for the Falcons.
Nice bit of hitting there. Good pitcher's count there. The batter stayed back on his back leg and drove that ball up the middle. Didn't hit it the hardest. Probably won't be the hardest hit ball we'll see all day, but he squared it up and put it out into center field and got that first run across the plate.
So Perdola will be the hitter now for Armstrong. Takes a first pitch for a strike. That was almost a case where he was better off not hitting it quite so hard as the center fielder didn't have a chance to make a play on that ball.
Yeah, and those balls are usually hard to judge because they're coming straight at you.
Perdola, diving stop by Nickel, and he throws him out. What a beauty by Keegan Nickel. I was all set to call that one a base hit, but Nickel had other ideas. The Falcons do get a run, though, in the first. 1 run on 2 base hits. There was 1 error. And 1 left aboard. Look at this gem here by Nickel to end the top of the first.
Great full extension, gets up to his feet quickly. Good strong throw across the mound. That's what you like to see your shortstop doing out there. And you know, it was hit so hard that he didn't even have time to think. He just reacted and was just long enough to get that ball and track it down.
Well, I'll tell you what. Even when he made the stop, I was thinking he's going to be tough to get an out there, but. Like you said, the fact that it was hit so hard, the runner hadn't really gotten too far away from the plate at that point. And, something good for both teams there. I think Wayzata gets pumped up by getting out of the inning with that great play, but Armstrong, you say, okay, we came out and we got to run it right away. Got on the board to start it out, so they're liking that part of it. Here's the lineup for the Trojans. Cullen Stamp, the second baseman, will lead it off. Then Nickel at short, Brennan Albert in center, Carter Tibbetts at first base, Ben Leitner in left field, Brandon Brolin, the catcher, Max McCarthy in right, Turner McIntosh, the DH, and Josh Gullickson, the third baseman, hits in the #9 slot for the Trojans. Defensively for Armstrong, Perdola at third, Ide at short, Larson at second, and Bwin at first base. Jensen, Page, and Human in the outfield. Tyler Fliss is the catcher, and doing the pitching for the Falcons is lefty A.J. Sternix. He has pitched a team-high 34 2/3 innings with a 4-2 record. And only 3 of the 11 runs he's allowed are earned this year, so his ERA is kind of an astonishing 0.61 for the season. He's allowed 22 hits, 14 walks, 40 strikeouts. So he did pitch a little bit the other day, but Coach Sobiak said, he had a pretty good low pitch count, so we feel comfortable coming back with him today.
Yeah, it's a big part of the section playoffs is trying to juggle that pitching staff to make sure you get the right arm out there, and when you're deep in the playoffs in that section bracket, you have the right arms available later in the section tournament too.
Cullen Stamp, a .254 average coming in. 7 doubles, 1 homer, 13 runs batted in. So he's, his second baseman, leadoff guy. You might think kind of the, not the power hitter type, but that's not looking like that's the case for him. He's also been hit by 6 pitches this year, so willing to take one for the team.
Yeah, you want to do whatever you can to get on base, and especially in that leadoff spot to start off the game for Wayzata here. And if it's a hit by pitch or a walk, whatever way you can get on base, you want to do it.
I always love when pitch is coming high and tight and everybody in your dugout's yelling, "Where that?" You Easy for you to say.
I'm trying to teach my 8-year-old at home, turn that shoulder. And I'm like, God, when I was a kid, I would never turn my shoulder. I always open up and get hit in the chest. I mean, it's just natural reaction. But it's a pace. You get that routine down to turn that shoulder in and take a pitch. It's a good habit to pick up early on in your career in baseball.
That one floats up high. 2-2 now to Stamp. Drives this one well out to left center, but it's going to hang up and up, and Page able to run that one down. We had a good angle to see that one, and it was definitely well hit, but at the same time you could see Page had a good beat on that one right off the bat.
Yeah, I think he saw that one right off the bat, and that quick first step put him in position to easily track that one down, but it was a well hit ball towards the left center gap.
It's amazing how much of a difference that makes if you really get a good read right away and that first step is true. It just, it turns that one into looking like an easy play, where if you didn't read it well, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, and that's just practice, and seeing balls hit off the bat. And, you want to position yourself out there in center field so you can see the batter and make sure that pitcher isn't blocking your angle, so then you can get a good read right off the bat.
Nickel has had a really good career for Wayzata. Not quite the numbers maybe that you might have expected coming in to the season with as much experience as he had. 274 average. He has scored 17 runs and has also walked 12 times. It's a short spring season, though. I mean, your average can fluctuate a lot. I think it's fair to say he's still a dangerous hitter, and he shows it right here. Nickel driving into the gap. Page won't catch that one. Nickel will have at least two, and let's see if he's going to hang on at second base with a one-out double. Nice timing, too, Keegan, just as I'm kind of talking you up. And then he drives one out to right center field and kind of demonstrates what we were talking about.
You heard he said he wants to work on his average right there, and he drove that ball to right center field, just out of the reach of the center fielder. Bounces to the wall and easily in with the stand-up double. Could have had a chance at the third with the cutoff throw going over the infielder's head, but made the choice early just to hold up at second.
Yeah, Page got to that ball nicely and was able to bare-hand it off one hop. Now that, we talk about what artificial turf field, more than likely on a grass field, you're not going to attempt to barehand that ball like he did.
No, especially at this time of year after the rain we had yesterday. It's going to be all sopping wet and muddy.
Brendan Albert, the batter here for Wayzata, as they try and answer the run Armstrong put up in the top of the first. Albert, 377 average, 16 runs batted in, 3 home runs, 7 doubles. So this is definitely a guy that you're not wanting to throw a fat fastball over the plate to. Lifting it to center. Page underneath that one. He'll make the catch. Nickel a bluff. And the throw was a little bit of a tough one to handle, but Pertla does a nice job getting down to grab it. So all three batters have driven the ball in the air to center or, slightly right or left of center. 2 of them have been caught. 1 was a double. And now Carter Tibbetts, the cleanup man, will step in here for Wayzata. Carter hitting at .250 for the year. 10 runs batted in, 6 doubles to his credit. Breaking ball, and he was out in front of that one. Sternix really going off speed there.
Yeah, nice pitch. Kept that one down in the zone. Tough pitch to hit.
Nickel is going. Here's the throw down to third. Not going to be in time. He got a great break on that one. And pitchers a lot of times don't really pay quite as much attention to somebody at second as they do first. And Nickel able to swipe the bag right there. Yeah,
not a typical position to be swiping third base, but with the right-handed hitter up there, it makes that throw even tougher for the catcher. And he had a good jump and got down to third base. Nice job by the third baseman again to just sacrifice his body and keep that ball in front of him.
That one missed, and there would be some who would say that that's a gamble not worth taking because you're already in scoring position. But if you can get a good read on that now, a wild pitch, an error or something, you could score this run where maybe it wouldn't have before.
Yeah, 100% agree, Jay. If you have a chance to steal, if you get thrown out, not the end of the world. You get out of the inning, you still have part of your order coming up in the bottom half of the second. But here, a wild pitch, pass ball, third strike, pass ball. That runner can come in and score if they keep this inning alive.
Rip and a miss. They do not keep it alive as Carter Tibbetts down on strikes. So the Trojans done in the first. No runs, 1 base hit. No errors and a runner left at third. After an inning full, Armstrong 1 and Wayzata nothing here on CCX.
What makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood? Or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. As life gets busier than ever, we will still offer you a connected community experience through CCX Media, so you can stay connected to the place you call home.
We go to inning number 2 here from Hopkins. Armstrong, the number 4 seed, leading top seed Wayzata 1-0 here in the Section 6 for a baseball tournament. Second round game. Armstrong did have to play in the first round. Wayzata did not. Next year that'll change. We'll be back to 8 teams in this section now. Maple Grove comes in, as does Minneapolis South. So the 6-team section just doesn't quite feel right, whatever the sport would be. And I know there's different reasons how that ends up happening, but I don't think it's an ideal scenario for anybody.
Yeah, it's tough. And the teams are still excited to play, but you don't have, when you look at other sections, and you got Eden Prairie and Minnetonka and that section down there with all these great teams, and then you look over here and you got 6 teams playing for a section title. That doesn't seem fair, but to have 8 teams in there will be a good thing to do.
Bo Human, a .238 average this year. He does have 11 runs batted in. This one foul at the plate. And Maple Grove, this year hasn't maybe had a great year, but year in, year out, that's a program that is pretty competitive. That it will be a nice addition, I think, to this group of teams.
Yeah, that seems to be similar, attendance and population-wise and competitively speaking. Maple Grove is always in that same type of vicinity, whether it's Armstrong or Wayzata. Year over year it changes, but it's a similar type of program, definitely.
1-2 pitch here from Ask is just off the plate wide as Human watch that one go. Bo has 1 home run. He's scored 10 times this year. 3 doubles to his credit. Here just trying to get on base here, leading off inning 2. And just off the end of the bat. Wayzata's kind of dominated this section these last few years, and before that Armstrong had won some titles, so these have kind of been the best 2 over the last half dozen years or so. And there's a line drive out into left field for a base hit. So we've seen some fairly well hit balls. These teams, when they played in this round last year, there was not a whole lot of offense in that game as I recall it, and we're seeing the ball hit around a little bit here in the early going.
Yeah, not a lot of pop flies. Pretty much everything that's been hit in the air has been pretty much squared up, and that one just fell in front of left fielder. He made a good decision, I think, to hold up and not try and chase it down and make an extraordinary play here and keep that runner just to a single.
James Larson, the batter, he squares and takes that one outside for a ball.
And this is what I remember about Armstrong baseballs. They're always willing to play small ball. They're willing to do what they can to get that runner down to scoring position and then see what happens, because you want to force things on your opponent. And squaring around a bunt puts the infielders in motion, makes people think what pitcher you're going to throw. And if they drop it down, you got that runner down into scoring position with just 1 out.
Larson hasn't batted a whole lot this year. I think plays in the field more, but 2 for 8 this year. And he pushes the bunt down the first baseline, but foul. I think a little bit different, not necessarily better or worse, but in terms of trying to bunt on this field, there's no real crown to the field for drainage purposes, so keeping the ball fair in theory should be a little bit easier. But
yeah, it's just one of those assumed things you know how to do in baseball, but it is still very challenging when coach asks you to bunt, you got to square it down, and not being able to get that bunt down is a little frustrating.
He does get it down this time. Ask will go to first, throws low and gets away. And everyone will be safe. Human hangs on at second, did not try and gamble because it was backed up pretty well. But Larson aboard on an error as Blake Ask had time but throws the ball low, and Tibbetts not quite able to dig it out. It was a good bunt, but it was definitely a play that Wayzata should make, and he just threw that ball low. And so Tyler Fliss, the catcher, will hit. First and second, nobody out. Wayzata's already committed 2 errors in this game. Fliss squaring as well and takes a breaking ball for a strike.
Nice breaking ball off the outside part of the plate, and I expect to see a lot of breaking balls here at this part of the game with Armstrong, conceding that they're willing to sacrifice bunt here, but they could change plans pretty quickly.
Fliss hitting at .235 for the year, squaring very early again. He's going to bunt the ball. Ask will come to first again. This time his throw right on target. The runners move up, though, as the sacrifice successful for Fliss. And Adam Bewin, the first baseman, will step up. Actually, he will not. We're going to see a pinch hitter very early in the game. Travis Mosley is going to bat. Interesting thing to see. First time through the order that they bat for Bewin with Travis Mosley.
Yeah, it's an interesting move, but I think if you have a hot hitter on the bench or somebody who's a specialty, maybe he's a great bunter and willing to sacrifice bunt or see what they have going on here, but there's definitely a reason he's coming into the game at this point.
And a check swing is a strike. Mosley hitting .263. He's had 19 at bats, 5 base hits, 4 doubles and a single. Or excuse me, 4 singles and a double. And is driven in 4. Meanwhile, Bewin is very good defensively at first, and he's a good pitcher, but hasn't really hit particularly well for this year. So kind of feeling like this is already an important situation when the runners at second and third and 1 out. And they don't hesitate to put Mosley in there as a hitter, and obviously they can re-enter Bewin. Now Mosley needs to make his coach look good, though, by getting some contact on the
there.
ball.
Yeah, and Wayzata's brought their infield in, so they're going to try and cut that runner off at home if it's anything hit in the infield.
And a rip and a miss. Mosley down on strikes, so Blake Ask kind of foiling the strategy of the pinch hitter there as he gets the strikeout, and Tyler Schell will step up.
Yeah, he's thrown that curveball really well here early in the game and paid off there. Just breaks off the outside side of part of the plate and catches him off guard.
Schell had an infield hit his first time up and advanced on a throwing error.
It's a good sharp breaking ball. You got to make sure he keeps it down, though. Leaving those up is going to be getting dangerous later in the game as these players start to get a read on it.
Swing and a miss there by Schell.
That's where you want to see him throwing that breaking ball off the outside part of that plate down towards the knees. Most hitters are going to try and pull the ball in this situation to drive those runs in, but when you're at the plate and you have a pitch in the outside corner, you just kind of got to go with it and push it to the other side of the field and make something happen.
Rip and a miss, and Blake Ask comes back with back-to-back Ks to get out of trouble here in the second inning. No runs, 1 base hit. There was a 1 error and a couple left on base for the Falcons. We go to the bottom of 2. It is Armstrong leading at 1-0.
Opiates has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me. Everything.
I blew my ankle out and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor.
If making my detox public is gonna help somebody, I'm all for it. I just wish I would have had a warning.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Interesting ballgame so far here. We've had a few hits and a couple errors committed by the Trojans. Armstrong leading it by a score of 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. The 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for Wayzata. Ben Leitner, Brandon Brolin, and Max McCarthy trying to get something going against A.J. Sternix, the Armstrong left-hander. And you kind of maybe get the feeling Armstrong might regret not being able to push anything more across in these first 2 innings with as many runners they've had. I mean, they got the 1 run in the first, but nice job by Ask to work his way out of trouble there in the second.
Yeah, they've definitely had their opportunities, Armstrong has, but Ask has done really well pitching out of a jam both here in the first and the second innings.
Ben Leitner getting set to step in. He's got a .259 batting average this year, 4 doubles, scored 8 runs, driven in 7. neither team, really lights out offensively when you look at their average runs and their, batting average as a whole. They're kind of maybe built to win some more low-scoring games, which a lot of times is what these playoff games turn out to be anyway.
Yeah, especially when you get deeper into the playoffs. I mean, yeah, this is the first game for Wayzata, but really it's almost a semifinal game, so you would expect good pitching and good defense to carry teams through the playoffs.
Chase that one a little bit and pops it back foul and out of play. One and two offering from Sternix, hangs up high, 2-2.
He knew he missed that pitch right away when he let it go. He felt that he left it up and high, and that's exactly where it ended up. You could see it in his face that he wasn't happy with the release point.
Nice piece of hitting there by Leitner to fight that one off. That was a pretty good pitch, and just able to flick it foul and stay alive up there. And he drives it pretty well out to right field. There's a long run. They're not going to get there. And it'll be 2 for Ben Leitner leading off the second inning. That ball just kept carrying out to right field. And I thought initially that maybe Human was going to have a chance at this one, but it just kept carrying. And he not that he had a bad break on it, I don't think. He just couldn't quite catch up.
Yeah, I think that was one of the higher hit balls we had this afternoon so far. But as you said, that ball just kept carrying. I think it may get up in the sun because that sun's definitely in the right fielder's eyes. But as you said, that prior pitch, nice job to fight it off and stay alive for another pitch. And then he gets the pitch to drive out to right field and gets down to second base.
Brandon Brolin, the hitter. He's squaring to Bunny, pops it up though, and it's going to be caught by Bwin.
Nice catch. Fought off the sun. You could see his eyes opening up, and he's like, I couldn't see that, but he ended up putting the glove in the right spot and tracking that ball down.
Next up, right fielder number 9, Max McCaffrey.
Coach Sobiak was talking about Bwin before the game. He said, he's a quality third option as a pitcher, but he said we like having him in there. And he's a guy that's easy to throw the ball to for our infielders and just good defensive first baseman.
Yeah, it's good to have a big target over there at first base when you're an infielder and you have a little extra couple inches in your first baseman. It's always a nice little extra resource to have over there.
Max McCarthy, the hitter. Fastball missing just inside there. Max hitting at .250 for the year. 6 hits in 24 at-bats. 1 double. He's driven in 1, scored 7 times. Rip and a miss here. A lot of new faces as compared to the section lineup from last year from Wayzata. And talking to Coach DeWitt about that before the season, he said, we've got a big school with a lot of kids playing baseball, and that's just kind of how it typically is going to be, that mostly seniors will be playing a lot. And so it's a lot of turnover from year to year in terms of starting lineup. There's a swing and a miss. Nice pitch by Sternix.
Yeah, as a program, you definitely want to reward the seniors who have come up through the ranks, and they kind of lead the way for the younger talent. And as there's definitely underclassmen, junior, sophomore, freshmen that have the right to play. But if the seniors are playing well, you want to put them in the game and reward them for their time and their commitment.
1-2 pitch here, and try to get him to chase again. That time Max able to lay off at 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Wayzata's hit a couple of doubles. In the first inning it came with 1 out, this time a leadoff double, and see if they can push a run across to tie it up or maybe take the lead here in the bottom of the second. Another one out to right field, hit well but foul. Turner McIntosh waiting on deck here for the Trojans. Here's a look at Turner as Wayzata trying to even things up here. And a called third strike. McCarthy caught looking for out number 2. Second strikeout for Sternix, and McIntosh now will step in.
Nice pitch there to get that strikeout inside on the knees, right in the inside corner of the plate. caught him looking.
McIntosh hasn't batted a whole lot this year, 1 for 14 as a hitter, but they must feel like he can hit a little bit if you put him in the lineup as your DH.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision, but seeing practice, we don't see what goes on in the cages and the practice and what they're working on. So that's obviously something that coach has been keeping in mind.
Yeah, I think there can be trouble, with reading too much into an average with that few of at-bats. Ewan having trouble with the sun and get some help from his right fielder coming on as Human had a little better line on that one. It was a foul ball, but they make the catch and get out of the inning. So Wayzata strands a leadoff double. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left aboard. We've played 2 innings here at Hopkins. It's 1-0 Armstrong.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
And we head to inning number 3 here on CCX Sports. Thanks for joining us for Section 6-4A Baseball. There's a look at Brian Sobiak, the Armstrong head coach, and said, we closed the season playing pretty well. We started the season playing well, had kind of a lapse in the middle there, and it feels like a lot of the teams in the area have been kind of like that this year, where there's nobody who rolled out to a 15-0, anything like that, but there's also a lot of teams that are pretty good. I mean, Armstrong and Wayzata on any given day can beat a lot of the teams that they're going to face. And there's Bobby DeWitt also in his 12th season for the Trojans.
That's one of those things when it comes to spring sports. You got so much stuff going on. You got kids maybe not wanting to play, and teams aren't always as deep. But if you have 2 or 3 good pitchers and a couple good hitters in that lineup, you should be able to put up a good record. But like you said, there isn't anybody out there with when you look at a Texas roster or a Texas score or win-loss on the season. You could see teams with 43 wins and 2 losses, and you just don't have that too often in Minnesota.
Page, as you see, walked his first time up. Takes that one down low for a ball. Blake Ask, I'm thinking probably got, not that he wasn't confident already anyway, but the end of that last inning with 2 big strikeouts with runners in scoring position, he's got to feel good about that. Yeah,
he definitely worked himself out of a nice jam there in the second, and he had really good confidence with that breaking ball. But with runners not on, you have that little bit of flexibility to kind of change up your pitching routine, and he looks like he's going back to his fastball a little bit here.
And that one nips the outside corner, 2-2. Bjorn Jensen waiting on deck here for Armstrong. Just off the plate with that breaking ball, so the count will run full now to Page, leading off inning number 3. Comes back fastball, driven to right field. A long run into foul ground and gets out of play there as hustling after it, and again looking up into that sun is McCarthy there for Wayzata.
Yeah, it's a long run, but just ran out of the ground there.
That's the thing for these players and for us and for the fans. We've had so few sunny days that you're probably not terribly used to it. And that one is up and in, and Page will draw his second consecutive walk.
That shows you how confident Ask is with his breaking ball right now, throwing a 3-2 breaking ball, but that one left up in the zone and gives up a leadoff walk.
So Bjorn Jensen will step up. He bounced into a double play last time, right near the second base bag. A rather easy opportunity for Nico, and Jensen, though, has been a tough out here for the Falcons. We said stats, and just it feels like a lot of the games that we went out to shoot highlights of, he was in the middle of the rallies a lot of times.
Yeah, Armstrong's definitely had their chances early on this afternoon, and they'd like to be up more than 1-0, but Wayzata's done a nice job getting themselves out of jams.
Fastball over for a strike. Page seems to run pretty well. We don't have numbers in terms of stolen bases, but I would think that if they were looking to run, this might be a guy that would be a candidate. And slashed into right field. There could be a play at second. Nope, now the throw airmail a little high there, but he was going to be in easily anyway there. Bjorn Jensen, a line single to right. So runners at first and second. Nobody out here for Armstrong in the third. And Drew Ide will hit.
Yeah, nice piece of hitting there. Like I said earlier, a lot of players want to try and pull the ball and hit it as hard as they can, but if you can go with the pitch and put solid contact in the opposite field, that's a good habit to have.
Well, Armstrong has been bunting early in this game, but it's the cleanup hitter up here. Cleanup hitter. He did square a little bit as though he might consider bunting. You see, I had a single his first time up to drive in the only run of the game, but first and second, nobody out. Bunt not out of the question here.
Corners are in.
It is squaring. He is going to bunt, and it's a pretty good one. Throw to first, gets away, and a run will score. Page comes in, Wayzata's third error of the ball game already, as Armstrong goes up now 2-0.
Yeah, good hustle by Armstrong. Put the ball in play and run around the bases, and there you go. You're up 2-0.
Boy, it almost seems like to me like the first baseman doesn't see this throw that well. I guess it was just up the line too far.
Yeah, I think it was a little up the line with the runner coming in. Tough play to make, and you don't want to see a broken arm or anything over there. But yeah, that's a tough play.
Time called before that pitch. And another thing that kind of messed that one up was just the communication issue. Ask looked like he might go for that ball and then didn't. And so that created a little bit of a mix-up there as Gullickson came in. So already 3 errors committed by the Trojans, kind of atypical, I think, for them. And so a 2-0 lead, runners at the corners, nobody out for Armstrong as Pertula, the hitter. There's a strike.
That's been his go-to pitch with runners on base, and he's having pretty good success. I'd expect him to stay with that breaking ball on the outside part of the plate.
Nobody out here, but Wayzata playing at double play depth. They would concede a run if that could mean turning two. Runner from first, delayed steal, and Ide will take second there. So removes the force. Gets him into scoring position as well there. Trying to draw a throw.
Yeah, he
that
kind of holds
happen,
up, gives him a look and says, all right, Wayzata didn't even make a throw down. He's a strike. It's a good breaking ball.
Just missed there.
Yeah, if you're Wayzata, you want to make sure you keep your composure here. Yeah, you're down 2-0, but you got to make sure this doesn't become 4-0 real quick with one hit.
Got him to pop it up. And Nickel is going to call for it and make the grab, and the runners will have to hang on. So one gone here. That one was kind of in between everyone. Nice take charge play, though, by Nickel to call everyone off, and he had a pretty good look at that one. So Bo Heumann will hit.
Yeah, that kind of dropped right in behind second base, but good job by the shortstop to call everybody off, make sure everybody knows that he's got the ball. There's no confusion. The runner was halfway down in case that ball drops in to score, but has to go back and still runners at second and third.
Heumann had a single his first time up, and he is squaring around, but has pulled the bat back and cut and a miss. Wayzata has the infield in right at the edge of the, I was going to say grass, but the green turf. Squeezes on and fouled away as Jensen was coming.
Yeah, it's a tough pitch to lay down, but you heard him calling out the squeeze, and that breaking ball is offside on the outside part of the plate and just fouled it off.
And that was not the safety squeeze. Jensen was coming. And that's a spot where you have to get the bat on the ball. Fastball high and away. I think they were maybe taking a look to test the waters if Armstrong was thinking squeeze again.
Yeah. I think with 2 strikes, they'd probably call it off, but you never know. And it's a little tougher with the catcher with a right-handed batter up because they don't see that runner charging down the line.
Ooh, and he fouls that one off of Brolin's mask.
Just got a piece of that breaking ball. Stay alive.
Brolin had quite the fan club that walked by us too. I don't know if it's little sisters or friends, but they're all wearing his number. A good 5-6 of them in the bleachers here that stepped in.
It's always fun to see this support, and got a good crowd for this section playoff game.
Just missed there. Wayzata fans and players wanted that one asked. You could see just a little grimace there as he was hoping to get that call. 2-2. Armstrong already leading 2-0. Runners at second and third and one out here in the top of the third. And that breaking ball got away from him a little bit. So now the count's full. Of course, first base is open. A walk isn't the end of the world here. He'd put the force play back into effect, but I think he wants to come after Human here if he can. And this one hit well out to left center field. A long run for it.
Nice.
And it is caught. It will, oh boy. I was going to say we'll score a run. It sure should have. Bjorn Jensen made a huge mistake there and didn't tag. Huh.
Oh boy.
That's a head scratcher there. That one should be an automatic run.
Yeah, when that ball leaves the bat, your job is to get right back to third base. He's not even there's no throw if he makes this. If he tags up, he can still tag up here. Oh, that's too bad. Nice catch by the left fielder. Great catch.
Nice job to run
Made that
one
look
down.
easy.
Boy, I did not think
Good
off
solid
the bat
contact,
that this
yeah.
one was going to be caught.
Yeah, he squared that one up, drove it to left field, and good read by the left fielder, who seems to be playing fairly shallow, and he was waiting for the sign to go, and I think
And
just
Jensen,
miscommunication.
he obviously was confused about what he was hearing from Coach Sobiak there. Armstrong really missing out on a golden chance. That should have been an easy run. I mean, he could have walked home.
Yeah. I think Wayzata here's just counting their blessings, saying, hey, we could be in a much tougher position. Let's get out of this and go hit some balls here in the bottom of the third inning.
James Larson, the batter now with 2 outs. He reached on an error the first time up, trying to lay down a bunt that was thrown away at first. There's the strike. And that one at the knees for strike 2.
That's where you want to see that fastball, down at the knees. Been an adventure of 3 innings thus far, but he's still in a good spot to keep his team in this game.
And lifted out to right center field. A long run, but the run is made by Brennan Albert. So, boy, Ask really wiggles out of a jam there. Armstrong gets 1 run in the inning on 1 base hit. There was another costly error for Wayzata and a couple left aboard. Armstrong really missing a chance to score at least 1 more. 2-0 Falcons as we head to the bottom of 3.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
We head to the bottom half of inning number 3. It's been an unusual game. A lot of crazy things happening. Armstrong missing out on a chance to score a run on what should have been a sacrifice fly there. So their lead is still at 2-0. Meanwhile, Wayzata committing errors at a high rate here in the early going. 3 errors through the first 3 innings. Stamp, Nickel, and Albert will hit here in the third for the Trojans, as they've banged a couple of doubles off Sternix, but not much beyond that, so they're still at 0. I'm sorry, Gullickson leading it off here. 9-1 and 2 hitters this inning.
Yeah, Wayzata counting their blessings. Now they want to start hitting that ball and see if they can get back into this game. They're only down 2-0, but it could be much worse.
First pitch over for a strike to Gullickson. He is hitting 127 on the year, 55 at bats, 7 base hits. Has knocked in 7 and scored 7. So you feel like at least, he made a contribution, even though the average doesn't look real good at this point, but trying to get things started here in this third inning. And fights off that breaking ball. Didn't get a real good swing at it, but got a piece of it anyway.
Yeah, definitely was caught off guard there and fought it off to stay alive in 0-2 count.
Ooh, and a hard liner. Might have tipped off the glove of Sternix. That'll be a base hit for Gullickson as he drives that one back up the middle.
Yeah, I think he was 2 inches away from making an outstanding reaction play there. He did just tip his glove, but good solid contact right up the box, and you see a little deflection there, but throws the ball down a little bit, but nice leadoff single for Wayzata.
Yeah, if he's a right-hand pitcher, that one might be a catch. As if his glove was on the other hand there, it would have been, but obviously just trying to react on that ball and got a little sliver of it. Cullen Stamp, the hitter, lined out to center his first time up. Really hit the ball pretty well. Fouls this one out of play. Hopkins and St. Louis Park will be game 2 of the doubleheader tonight. John Jacobson will come in to join Drew for a call of that one. Throw to first base was low, but Bwin digs it out. Throw to first again. Nickel did swipe third base after doubling in the second inning. Is that in past years anyway, typically not a team that necessarily runs a whole lot. To short, there's one. Relay to first.
Nice scoop, but I think it was off the bag, yeah.
Yep, didn't quite get him as Bwin did a nice job digging that ball out.
Not the hardest hit ball, tough play to turn, but they got that first out. That's the most important thing.
So Nickel will be the batter here with a runner at first and one gone. We'll see that.
Yeah, good little flip by the shortstop over to the second baseman. Ball just not hit hard enough to get that out over at first base. And beat the throw anyways.
Yep, he was safe regardless, but Bwin, he did the right thing there. Sometimes guys get so concerned. Wayzata wanted a balk call there. They don't get it.
Yeah, he definitely had the runner going back to first. I didn't see the delivery, but.
And I say with Bwin, sometimes guys are so intent on keeping their foot on the bag that they don't catch the ball, and that's obviously your first job. And as we said, that's pretty clear on that replay that Stamp had beat it anyway, regardless of whether he was on the base.
Pretty good lead by the runner over there at first base. Aggressive with a left-handed pitcher on the mound.
There's a strike to Nickel, who, as we said, doubled in his first at-bat to right center.
But you definitely, as a runner, you want to make that pitcher aware that you're over there. You don't want to be 100% focused on the batter. You're trying to distract him as much as possible over there without putting yourself at risk.
Gonna come to first again. Quick flip this time, and a closer play, and Armstrong, I think, got excited for a moment, thought they might have had him, but not quite.
Yeah, not a strong enough throw. He's keeping an eye on him over there. Now it's almost a matter of he wants to find a way to pick him off.
Fliss bluffing a throw that time.
Yeah, it's a dangerous play. You got to make sure that throw's on line down there because that sun's in the first baseman's eye. And if the right fielder's not moving over there, that runner can easily get down to third if this throw scoots by him.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of room for that ball to bounce around out there, too, in this field. Taken low for ball 3 by Nickel. Mark Elias there coaching at third for the Trojans. They try and get the offense going here, trailing at 2-0. Sternick's holding the ball some this time, and Nickel just gets a piece of that one.
Yeah, barely caught a piece of that one. The catcher's setting up way on the outside part of the plate, and something as a hitter you want to do is take a peek back in to see where that catcher's trying to set up so you get a little bit of a read of where they're trying to locate that pitch.
Stamp getting a good lead, and again, Sternick's will go to first, and I think what you said earlier is true, Drew. I mean, he's succeeded in getting Sternick's attention and maybe taking away a little of the focus on the hitter. So that's, as a base runner, what you want to do.
And he's able to extend his lead just a little bit every time, feeling more confident in that, reading that throw, that pickoff play.
Nickel popping it up. And playable and caught there by Ide, the shortstop, for out number 2. And Brennan Albert will be the batter now for Wayzata.
Nice play by the shortstop there to call off the second baseman. Just the way he's positioned with the sun, you can see the second baseman trying to fight off that sun, because as he's squared up to home plate and tracking down that ball, he loses it. But the shortstop's got a different angle. He's able to watch it come down without the sun in the background.
Breaking ball up high for a ball. Albert flied to center his first time up. And sometimes people oversimplify and think like, well, don't you just wear sunglasses and then you're all fine? But sometimes no. If the ball's really right in line with the sun, it can be a real tough thing.
And some players just don't like wearing glasses. Like I never liked wearing sunglasses because it's just one thing that could fall off or distract you while you're running. And a lot of players just don't like to wear glasses. But putting that glove up and trying, you want to put that glove on the sun and then track the ball. And then if it's still in the sun, you're in trouble, and you want somebody else trying to help you out or call you off.
And it's not a hard and fast rule, but you typically find outfielders often do wear sunglasses, but infielders generally don't, because it can be a little bit of a distraction. So, but
yeah, typically outfielders, the balls they're going to be making plays on are usually up in the air. Otherwise, they're just tracking down ground balls. But for infielders, they're all over the place, trying to get that out at first. Just another thing you have to manage and make sure you keep in your bag. When you break it, tell mom or dad you need a new pair. It's like
tap foul past third. Hard hit ball into left center for a base hit there by Albert. Page tracking it down, and this one is going to be a double. Stamp in at third base, and Brennan Albert, a 2-out double for the Trojans, their third two-bagger of the game. And now they've got runners at second and third with 2 outs.
Very well hit ball in the left center field. The center fielder was trying to take a curl and make a good angle on that ball, but he realized it was moving so fast that he had to take a straight line on it and wasn't able to get a good strong throw into third base. Allows the runner to move down to second as well.
I was thinking at first that maybe Page made a mistake by not throwing to second there, but and looking at it again, I'm not too sure either way there that one would have made a difference. Carter Tibbetts, the batter, and takes that one down low for a ball. It was clear by that time he wasn't going to have a play on Stamp at third, but whether it would have been able to keep the batter, Albert, from getting to second or not, it's hard to say. Tibbetts struck out his first time up. Golden opportunity here. He takes a breaking ball for a strike. We've seen Ask be able to work out of some real difficult spots, and now Sternick's trying to do the same here in the third.
Yeah, for as tough of a game it's been this far for Wayzata, they're 1 hit away here from tying this game up.
Yeah, and they've hit some balls hard, too. I mean, as I said, they're 3 of their 4 hits are doubles so far, so it isn't like they haven't had some people on or some chances of their own. There you see the 2 runners, Stamp at third, Albert at second. Lifts this one back, foul and out of play. Tapper to third. Pertola is going to go across the diamond to get the out there. A nice play on the bouncer by Tibbetts. And so again in the third, Wayzata threatens but doesn't score. No runs, 2 base hits, no Armstrong errors, and 2 left aboard. We have completed 3 innings here in the Section 6 4A tournament. It's 2-0 Armstrong.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You will also have access to our large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find us, go to the App Store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all your favorite local content. The CCX Media app, now available on Apple TV, coming soon to Roku.
As Drew mentioned, pretty nice crowd on this one. You don't have to twist arms to get friends and family out when it's this nice of a day, I think, too, right?
Yeah, especially after the weather we've had this spring and more recently yesterday. Yesterday was like a monsoon, but fortunately Hopkins has this great facility here, and they're able to host this tournament, these games today, and pretty dry field with good drainage and good crowd. And it's fun to see the excitement and the energy here in the section baseballs. I mean, summer baseball is great, but when it comes to sections in the high school season, it's just a lot of fun, a lot of energy.
8, 9, and 2 hitters coming up for Armstrong here in the 4th. Tyler Fliss, the catcher, will lead it off. He had a sacrifice bunt his previous plate appearance. Swing and a miss. Blake Ask is, I think has done a nice job pitching out of trouble. It's mainly been defensive issues, including one, error by himself, throwing the ball too. That I think he's generally pitched pretty well, but there have been some base runners and he's had to work out of some jams.
Yeah, he's been pitching well this afternoon. Good, strong breaking ball, and I think the more these Armstrong hitters see it, the more comfortable they'll be at the plate. And I've seen them starting to drive that curveball a little bit. But when he locates it on the outside half of that plate down by the knees, it's almost impossible to hit.
The 0-2 when he comes back, curveball there and misses.
And it's not always about being able to hit the curveball. It's also the ability to actually read when it's coming and know you should lay off it and not try and chase something.
Roland trying to frame that one up as it was just a little bit low, and he tried to sell it as being at the knees. Didn't quite get the call. 2-2 count here to Fliss. And that one definitely low. Count runs full now. Bewin, the on-deck hitter for Armstrong, as they try and get something going here in the 4th. For a 2-0 game, we've actually really had a lot of base runners for both these teams. Oh, there's a called third strike. Comes back with a beauty. Breaking ball over for a strikeout is 3rd of the game for Blake Ask, and Adam Bewin will be the batter.
Yeah, a lot of well-hit balls this afternoon, just not a lot of runs thus far.
Boy, that was a nasty one. I think Fliss knew it.
And he seems to have 2 different types of breaking balls, one more of a 12-6 and kind of more one that moves across the plate, and he's doing a good job mixing those up.
Bewin's first at bat, a little soft liner, and it's going to be in for a base hit. As his first time through the order, they pinch hit for him, and then this time a little soft single in the center. So a 1-out runner for Armstrong, and Tyler Schell will be the batter.
Yeah, not the hardest hit ball, but squared it up, put it right up the middle, and gets himself on base.
Schell had a single and then a strikeout. And that fastball just off the plate, 1-0. I really think both teams right now probably thinking, gosh, we should have more runs than we have. Wayzata, stuck at 0, and Armstrong definitely feeling they could and should have more than 2.
Yeah, Wayzata's been hanging on, but they're within striking distance, and a couple hits here and there, and they'll be able to tie this game up. But Armstrong's definitely had their opportunities this afternoon.
Rolling a nice stop on that pitch. Not really much of a lead over there for Bewin. I don't think trying to swipe second is really in their thought process right now. Oh, this one hit well to left field. A long run again.
Oh, they
and that one is going to bounce over for a ground rule double.
Very well hit ball. One hops the fence. Runner has to hold up at third just as the rule, but he would easily come to score. Good solid swing, great contact. That would have been one heck of a play to make that catch.
Yeah, we saw one run down in a similar situation by Leitner before. That one, though, obviously not within his range. So Shell gets a one-out double, second and third. I guess, that's just the way it is, but I feel like it doesn't seem quite right or quite fair when a ball that you probably would have scored on.
Yeah.
You have to stop at third, but that's how it is.
Yeah, it is how it is, and he probably would easily come in to score, but the rule's the rule, and it's just a universal. Once it goes over you get one more bag, and it's or you get the two bags, and now Armstrong's in a really good spot here with the heart of their order coming up and runners on base.
Page has walked both times up, fouls this one straight back. Yeah, we've been kind of saying this throughout most of these half innings for both teams that, okay, if they can just get that one big hit here where we get not only, guys on base, but two in scoring position and only one out.
Yeah, it's a big spot here. Infield in.
It's the type of thing where, as a coach, you're even just hoping for a fly ball to score a run, although last time they had that situation, they didn't end up scoring. And
right.
A miscommunication there, and the runner didn't tag on a ball that should have been an easy sac fly. Ooh, nasty breaking ball there, and Page down on strikes for out number 2.
It's like we've seen this script before with Askey. Here he is throwing his breaking ball to get himself out of the jam, and one more out, and he does it again.
Bjorn Jensen, the batter, he is 1 for 2. Fastball outside. That one nipped the outside corner, 1-1. And pops this one foul and out of play, so Ask ahead in the count now at 1-2.
I'd expect him to see that breaking ball on the outside part of the plate, see if the hitter can drive it to right field.
And a rip and a miss, and Ask again comes up with a big K to get out of the inning. Again, Armstrong a big threat, but they don't score. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 left on base as we head to the bottom half of the 4th. It is Armstrong 2 and Wayzata nothing.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where the cats go on vacation? New York.
Welcome back here to Hopkins High School, site of the Section 6-4A baseball tournament. CCX Sports proud to bring you coverage of the tournament here, and the next game between Hopkins and St. Louis Park will also be broadcast as Leitner, Brolin, and McCarthy get set to hit the 5, 6, 7 batters for Wayzata in the bottom half of the 4th. And if you're just joining us, a lot of runners left on base here for both teams, as Wayzata has stranded 4 through the first 3 innings, and Armstrong has stranded 7 through their 4 innings of at bat. So the game, in a lot of ways, feels like it could be a much higher score than what it is at 2-0. But Ben Leitner doubled his first time up. Pounding it to short. Eyed up with it there. Uh-oh. And that throw gets away from him. And Leitner will hang on at first base as it was backed up by Fliss. But E6, Armstrong had gone without an error prior to that one, but it looked like he didn't have a very good grip on it because as soon as he threw it, you could see it really got away from him.
Yeah, really well hit ball. He had plenty of time. It's like he had too much time to think about it. He just kind of airmailed that one, and no chance for the first baseman to go up and get that one.
That's the kind where when the ball's halfway there, Bwin is already saying, I don't need to jump or anything because that ball's not close enough for me to even think about it. So Brolin will hit. Slicing it foul past first.
It was good to see Ide, take that play and kind of laugh like he knew he just blew it. It's not like he's going to let it get him and ruin his afternoon. He's put that behind him already, and he's ready to make this next play.
Roland fouled out down the first baseline his first time through. Squaring around, and the bunt is fair. Fliss will throw to first to get the out. Brolin just getting a piece of that ball, but he gets the job done as Leitner moves up to second, and McCarthy will bat.
Yeah, a nice bounce for him to pick that ball up, easily get it down to first base, and not worry about what the umpire's doing. You want to go through with that play and make that throw no matter what. Even if it's foul, you want to get that ball out first and not cause any confusion for anybody.
McCarthy is swinging a miss. That was one that it wound up being so close to home plate that you may be kind of thinking, second guessing, did he have time to throw to second there? But you kind of want to make that sure play there.
Yeah, you definitely. And if you're up 2-0 here in this point, if it was a tie game, maybe you try and force that. But knowing the situation, the game is also really important.
McCarthy, a strikeout victim, his first time through. Now 1-1 count. Rip and a miss.
Swung right over that one. Had a good chance to drive it. Just too anxious and jumped on it too early.
Boy, they're different pitchers, but both guys have kind of a sharp breaking ball that the hitters have had trouble really getting a beat on. Tapper down the first baseline.
Yeah, and they're different types of breaking balls. This one's more of a looping kind of all the way from the outside coming in, whereas Ask's breaking ball is a sharp, quick break. Both hard to pick up, though, especially when they're throwing it well and finding their spots in the zone.
Called third strike, and Sternick's really hitting the target there, too. I think that call was helped by the fact that Fliss was set up right out there and the ball was perfect in his mitt. And they called third strike for a second time against McCarthy there.
Yeah, right as the pitcher went into his motion, you saw the catcher kind of scoot out to his left and making sure that the umpire saw that he didn't really have to move his glove that much, and that helped sell the strikeout there.
McIntosh fouled out down the first baseline to the right fielder his first time up, so 2 gone here in the fourth. Runner at second for Wayzata. They still trail at 2-1, but one swing could put them back within a run here, certainly, or even better, perhaps. Sternick will step off here. It's the kind of game where I think both teams kind of feel like, they're probably coming back to the dugout saying, we can hit this guy. It isn't that we've been just blown away, but at the same time, both pitchers have made some key pitches at key times, too.
Yeah, definitely neither one's very overpowering, but they're definitely throwing strikes when they need to, and they're getting the outs when they need to. And it's very frustrating as a hitter to go up there and know that you should be able to hit this, but it's something they're doing that's causing you to miss that pitch.
1-1 count here to McIntosh. And there's strike 2.
Took a little bit off that one, caught him off guard, and caught the outside corner of the plate.
to short again. Ide, a little tougher play this time, and he will throw him out. So his error to start the inning doesn't faze him. Wayzata done in the fourth. No runs, no hits. There was one Armstrong error and one left aboard. We head to inning number 5. It's still 2-0 Falcons.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane. Woo! You got this.
And we go to inning number 5 as Blake Ask completing his warm-up tosses here for Wayzata. Armstrong will have the 4, 5, and 6 hitters coming up. Drew Ide, Nathan Pertla, and Bo Human, as Armstrong scored 1 in the first, 1 in the third, and that's all for the scoring, although as you see by the hit totals and the error totals, in fact, too, there have been a lot of base runners for both these teams. It's just been a matter of not necessarily delivering with runners in scoring position for either club so far. Obviously, Armstrong is a little bit more of that, but they've missed some opportunities as well. Drew Ide 1 for 2 as he steps in. Fastball over for a strike there. And got him to chase one there. 1-2 count now. Ask has come up with some big strikeouts when he's needed them. Has 5 Ks so far in the game. This time, Ide knocking it to right, and he will have himself a base hit. Second hit of the game for Drew Ide, as that one was a hard one hopper right at the right fielder, and Ide doing the right thing, I think, by running through first base there. You don't want to kind of make that slow trot to first, as I think right off the bat there was some thought maybe of, will I throw this ball to first, but playing deep enough that it wasn't really in the cards at that point.
Yeah, good hustle out of the box. Took that out of question.
Nathan Pertla, the batter, knocking one to short right. Oh, and it just is caught. A great lunging play. The sunglasses flying as McCarthy makes the grab for out number 1. Boy, that one could have been trouble if it got by him, but he seemed to see it pretty well, even when he lost the sunglasses late here.
That was a nice play. I think if I would have made that play, I'd be hurt.
Yeah, he
good play.
Gave up his body for that one to make sure he caught it and really landed hard on his stomach, it looked like. But nice grab there. Bo Human is the batter now. He's 1 for 2 today. And Wayzata, overall has not been very good in the field today, but that was a heck of a grab, and Nickel made a tremendous play earlier in the game as well.
Yeah, that was one of the better catches in left field that I've seen for a while, and that play, too, was great. Diving stop, and nice job by the runner there to get yourself in position that if that ball does get by him, he's going to score. But after seeing him catch it, hustle back to first and stay on board, stay on the base paths.
Ask ahead in the count here. Fastball just outside, 1-2. Time requested there by Human. Breaking ball blocked by Brolin.
Nice job to lay off that pitch. That's one of those breaking balls that you know it's coming. It's going to be tough to hit. Just don't swing at it. That time it's out of the zone. You stay alive for another pitch.
Yeah, I think Blake really wanted to come with a nasty, sharp one there, and he just got overthrew it a little bit. Then comes back fastball, and Human down on strikes. Obviously, when you've been getting a fairly steady diet of that sharp curveball, then fastball looks a little bit faster, and I don't think he was quite ready for that. His swing was kind of a defensive
Yeah, his
swing.
weight was not. Yeah, he was kind of caught off guard, expecting to be more over the plate. Started his swing, and by the time he went around, it was already by him and off the plate. Strike 3.
So Larson will be the hitter here. And there's a strike. And low with that one. We have not had a 1-2-3 inning in this game for either pitcher. Just gets a piece of that one. One-two offering is low and away, so 2 balls and 2 strikes now to James Larson for Armstrong.
Again, that's the pitch that I think we've seen a lot of strikeouts, swinging strikeouts on. That time laid off it to try and get another pitch here over the plate.
In on the hands and fouls that one away. Ask hasn't worked the inner part of the plate all that much.
Yeah.
He's generally been trying to get him to chase outside.
Yeah, even his fastball, he's been leaving on the outside part of the plate, and we haven't seen him go inside all too often.
And a fire to first here, but not really too sizable of a lead for Ide there. And a cut and a miss. And again, Ask comes up with a big strikeout to end the frame. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left aboard for Armstrong in the 5th. We go to the bottom half of inning 5. Still 2-0 Falcons.
Opiates has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me. Everything.
I blew my ankle out and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor.
If making my detox public is gonna help somebody, I'm all for it. I just wish I would have had a warning.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
2-0 Armstrong leading Wayzata here in the bottom of the 5th inning now at Hopkins High School, the Section 6 4A baseball tournament. Second round game here. It's a double elimination, so the loser will still be alive in this one, but obviously we've seen in past years that staying in the winner's bracket seems to greatly enhance your possibilities for having your pitching lined up the way you want to win the tournament.
Yeah, you get a lot more rest, too. I think the winner has 6 days off. The loser comes back in a couple days. So you save those pitches, you save those arms, and your players get to rest a little bit.
Josh Gullickson will lead it off against A.J. Sternix, the Armstrong left-hander, who has been solid. Again, we've talked about it kind of throughout the game. Both he and Blake Ask have pitched well, although not, certainly not lacking for base runners. They haven't just blown everyone away, but they've been able to work out of jams when needed, and the lead's still at 2-0 here. You see Gullickson last time up hit a single. And breaking ball over for a strike there.
Yeah, I've been a steady diet of breaking balls for both pitchers, and neither team's been able to really line them up and put a string of hits together.
And let's see, did he go? No. 1-1.
I think that's the thing that we've seen. We've seen spotty hits, but not a string of 3 or 4 back-to-back hits to really light up that scoreboard. But both teams doing a good job of getting themselves out of any damage.
And you start to wonder then, do we do something different? Armstrong actually did bunt a few times earlier, so it wasn't like they just have sent hitter after hitter up there and not changed anything up, but just haven't, for the most part, been able to get the clutch hits for either team. That one's foul. It was off the leg of Gullickson. Coach Sobiak, when he was talking about Sternix before the game, it kind of is playing out. One thing he said is he always just seems to keep us in the game, whether he has his best stuff or not. Ball foul down the first base line.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, he's not overpowering and dominating, but he's throwing strikes and throwing good breaking balls when he needs to and getting key plays in the field to keep Wayzata off the board here so far.
Well, the other thing he's done, not to jinx him or anything, but hasn't been walking anybody either. So they've gotten a few doubles against him, but again, not followed up with more clutch hitting or, mistakes necessarily. There's been one error committed by Armstrong, but it didn't turn out to hurt them. 3-2 pitch. That one knocked back up the middle for a base hit. So Gullickson in the 9 slot is 2 for 2 for the Trojans, and see if they can build on that start as they get the leadoff man aboard here in the 5th, and the top of the order due up, Cullen Stamp. Going to see a runner at first, it looks like.
Good solid drive up the box to get that leadoff runner on. It's interesting to see how Wayzata plays this. Down 2-0 late in the game. They want to do whatever they can to get that first run across, but you're running out of outs, and you don't want to sacrifice too many outs here.
Blake Golden will run at first base for Gullickson. Again, not a courtesy runner situation. Gullickson's a third baseman, so they must feel that get a little more speed in there with Golden.
The third baseman for Armstrong playing pretty far in, expected a bunt here.
Stamp swinging away and makes him pay for it. Perdola, I don't know that he would have, necessarily had to play on that if he was back farther, but he might have. And Stamp drilling a single to left field, back-to-back hits to begin the 5th for Wayzata, and Keegan Nickel will be the hitter.
Yeah, we have a good angle on this ball, and I think if he is back at regular depth, he definitely gets a step and has a chance to make a play on that ball, but he's in, he doesn't have any time to react, and that ball gets by him in a hurry.
Boy, that's the little, back and forth mind games with baseball, because I have to admit, I really expected that he would be bunting in that spot too. I don't fault Armstrong for thinking that.
Yeah, and I think, Wayzata, you're here with you got your the 9 hitter on base, and you get the heart of your order coming up. Maybe you roll with it, and you try and string a few hits together here with the top part of your order up, and, don't give up those outs just to try and get a runner down to second base, see what you can make it happen with your the better part of your order up coming up.
Yeah, and it sure makes you look better, too, when your hitter, hits a hard line drive like that, too, right?
Exactly.
So some talk on the mound here for Armstrong as Keegan Nickel gets set to bat for the Trojans. He had a double his first time up, so definitely a hitter they, feel comfortable with having come up in this spot, and Albert behind him as well.
Now it'll be interesting to see if they decide to drop down a bunt.
I'm thinking no, just because of where they are in the order.
I think you're right. And even if it's a matter of if you get a take sign, you square around just to make that third baseman think. But
oh, and instead he is hit by the pitch. So Nickel hit, and the bases will be loaded up. He was squaring. And Sternix trying to throw a breaking ball that'd be tough to bunt. Instead, hits him in the back, and now they're loaded up for Brennan Albert.
Well, this is the biggest spot of the game we've seen thus far, and Wayzata in a really, really good position here to get at least that first run across the board.
Albert doubled last time up. He's 1 for 2. And that one blocked by Fliss. Boy, I think the pressure kind of switches to the defense now, even though Wayzata's down 2-0. They get the bases full, nobody out, and there are 3-4 hitters coming up. And a big swing and a miss by Albert there.
He was expecting a breaking ball, but saw a fastball up at his eyes and jumped on it, but wasn't able to get around. Corners playing in still for Armstrong, playing double play down up the middle.
Fliss has to block another one there. Obviously nowhere to put him right now. He's not walked anybody, but he did hit the last batter, Nickel. Base is loaded up for the Trojans here. Chopper to third. Perdola will come home. They get the lead runner, and that's all they'll get. So 5-2 on the force play. Everybody else moves up one. Albert aboard on a fielder's choice. Not the double play that they would have liked, but they do get the lead runner there for Armstrong.
Yeah, good high hopper down to the third baseman. Runner breaking right away as that ball is driven down on the ground, but good play by the third baseman to get that throw in straight to the catcher. And you don't try and force a double play. Make sure you get that first one, and then don't start throwing the ball around and let a runner come in.
Carter Tibbetts, the batter. You see what he's done today, 0 for 2. Yeah, I think pretty smart choice there by Fliss. I think he realized just by the way that ball was hit, fairly high chopper, that they really weren't going to have a very good chance to throw down to first for a double play there, so he just wisely held it. Tibbetts will try and come through here with the bases full now and 1 out. There's the strike.
Nice breaking ball there. Put himself in a good position. Up 0-2 in the count now.
Lifted out to short right field. Catch is made. They are sending the runner to the plate. Throw's going to come to third. And safely in at third. Wow, an interesting play to throw to third. So the run scores on a sac fly for Tibbetts. And they nearly got the runner nickel at third, but he's able to dive around the tag.
Yeah, great throw. I didn't think he even had a chance to get him at third, but put some juice behind this throw to third and made a play of it, but the runner scoots by the tag and allows that run to get in. Had they got that out, that run probably wouldn't count.
Yeah, it was going to be close. I was trying to keep an eye on both things as once he realized he was throwing to third, and that's why you run hard on that play if you're Colin Stamp. Show that right there. Young baseball players watching that, he was going to score easily, but you're right, if they'd get that tag down.
Yeah, I think if he gets that tag down on that first swipe, that run's not going to count, but that would have been an interesting discussion between the umpires and whichever manager came out on the short end of that one.
Ben Leitner, the hitter. He doubled last time up, or excuse me, his first time up, and then reached on an error. So Wayzata on the board, 2-1 now. First and third, 2 outs. Armstrong still clinging to that lead, but running in on the sac fly. Fliss a block here. Be interesting to see if Wayzata will send that runner from first. And Armstrong, you might throw through and try and get the throw out. Back up the middle, and it won't matter. Sternick's up with it. Ooh, he kind of shot puts it over to first, but he will get the out. Wayzata does get on the board, though. 1 run in the inning on a couple of base hits. No errors, and they strand 2. So we've tightened it up now. After 5, it's 2-1 Armstrong.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Pretty good ball game here. 2-1 Armstrong leading it as we go to inning number 6. The Falcons will have their 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming up. Fliss, Bewin, and Shell. Wayzata has just gotten on the board in the bottom half of the 5th inning. They loaded up the bases. He had a force play at home and then a sacrifice fly, which almost resulted in a double play as the Armstrong threw to third, but Nickel able to dive around the tag and then get himself back into the bag as well as Pertla tried to tag him. So interesting inning certainly right there.
Yeah, a lot of action, a lot of activity, bases loaded, and Armstrong's only able to give up 1 run, so they got to be pretty happy with that, and they still got the lead.
So Fliss 0 for 1, a sacrifice, and then a strikeout, and he takes a strike here. Yeah, it's kind of like we said for Armstrong earlier in the game, that the inning had a little bit for the offense and a little bit for the defense. I mean, if you're Wayzata, you're obviously glad you got on the board finally, but you're feeling like probably we could have or maybe should have had more than just the one.
Oh, yeah, I think they would definitely like to see a 3 or 4 up there, but key plays by Armstrong kept him out of getting into too much trouble.
There's a strike from Ask.
He's definitely working that outside corner of the plate, painting it all afternoon.
See a little bullpen activity there for Wayzata. There's McIntosh throwing down there. Takes that one for a ball, 2-2. Just inside there, it almost looked like the umpire was turning to bring that arm up, and much to the relief of Tyler Fliss, he did not.
Yeah, I think he sold that with turning the shoulder and making it seem like a little more inside, but I think it's the right call.
And swing and a miss. Third consecutive strikeout going back to last inning now for Blake Ask.
Again, that curveball, you know what's coming. It's just hard to lay off, and he's just dropping it right on the outside corner of the plate, and probably going to be close to being called a strike, but you got to protect that plate with 2 strikes, and unfortunately not able to put the bat on the ball.
Yeah, I think that one very well could have been a called strike. Wait, it's kind of got some late movement, it looks like, where they're just above it. And then he goes fastball to Bwin, a swing and a miss. Bwin 1 for 1 today. I had a single in the 4th. Ooh, and he fouls that one off of Roland. Didn't appear to hurt him at all. It just kind of a little thud sound.
Yeah, I think it caught his mask. It looked like it hurt him because he was looking up right away trying to see where it went, but I think he's all right.
Fastball just off the plate there.
Good pitch, good miss, though. It's all right. You have pitched to waste, and you kind of stretch that zone and set him up for probably a breaking ball in the outside corner here.
Comes back fastball instead, and Bwin down on strikes. Ask getting stronger maybe as the game goes here. He's struck out 4 batters in a row, and Tyler Shell will be the hitter.
Yeah, he's just sitting on that outside corner, and that's I mean, the catcher's setting up outside, and that's even further outside than it appears, and that's a good pitch to get the strikeout on.
Well, he's had a little trouble with this guy at the top of the order today. As you see, Shell is 2 for 3, including a double last time up. Fouling that one out of play.
He swing on that breaking ball there that time. I think he's seen that breaking ball enough that he's ready to time it and square it up.
And a called strike 2. I think asking, when you see your team get a little bit going offensively, they score a run, then you kind of want that next inning to go out there and just shut them down quick and try and keep that momentum and get back with the bats.
Get those bats back at the plate. You want to give yourself a chance to get a win here.
Outside with that fastball, 2-2.
They definitely had Armstrong on the ropes last half inning, but Armstrong was able to get out of a big jam.
Ooh, nasty breaking ball, and Ask strikes out the side in the 6th. He's fanned 5 in a row. No runs, no hits, and no one left for Armstrong. We go to the bottom of 6. Trojans down 2-1.
There are amazing things to discover in the forest.
Toothless, time to go! What you picking up on, bud?
It's a whole hidden world of wonders. And the perfect place to spend time with family. What better place to let your imagination soar? Experience nature and create a memory you can share. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest or park near you.
Welcome back. A new pitcher coming in for Armstrong as Sternix works the first 5, and he will be relieved here by Colin Spellman, who closed out their first playoff victory the other day against Southwest. Spellman has worked 32 innings, 3 wins, 2 losses, 1 save, 1.75 earned run average. He's allowed 25 hits, walked 6, fanned 34 in those 32 innings. So I'm not terribly surprised by this. Sternix, I think, they were starting to maybe get to him a little bit more, but also even more so than that. Not like he was, falling off that much, but you put a different look out there. You go from lefty to righty. You got a guy who's fresh, and Spellman has been, used as a reliever quite a bit this year as well. So I don't think it's a situation they feel that he'll be uncomfortable coming in.
Yeah, I think you're right. The change of pace is the strategy here for Armstrong. Got out of a busy half inning last inning. Take the pitcher out on a high note to get out of that jam and bring in a right-hander here to kind of change the pace up.
First pitch taken low for a ball. Sternix working 5 innings, allowing 6 hits, 1 run, no walks, 3 strikeouts. He also hit a batter. Brolin 0 for 1 on a sacrifice. Down to short. Hyde scooping it up and throws him out. 1 gone here in the bottom of the 6th, and McCarthy will not be the batter. Looks like we're going to see a pinch hitter for Wayzata as Joe Groshala, number 10, will step up. Groshala 8 for 33 this year, 242 batting average. Couple of runs driven in, 6 runs scored. So he will hit for McCarthy, who has struck out twice. First pitch over at the knees for a strike. And that one over the outside corner for strike 2.
Seemed to take a little bit off that one. Haven't seen much of a breaking ball, but that first few pitches have been thrown pretty hard. That one he took a little bit off and got the outside corner.
Spellman comes back with the curveball there and strikes him out on 3 pitches. So 2 gone, and obviously we don't know what's going to happen the rest of the game, but the decision to go to Spellman not looking too bad right now, is it?
Yeah, nice big breaking ball to get that swinging 3rd strike and keep the momentum going here for Spellman and Armstrong.
Turner McIntosh will be the batter now for the Trojans. He is 0 for 2. There's a strike. Little tapper. This is going to be a tough play for the pitchers, but he throws him out. Spellman doing a nice job getting off the mound and makes it look easy. So the Trojans done 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. We go to inning number 7. Armstrong holding on to a 2-1 lead here in the Section 6 tournament.
Nice play.
Yeah, I really thought that was.
What makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood, or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. As life gets busier than ever, we will still offer you a connected community experience through CCX Media, so you can stay connected to the place you call home.
St. Louis Park Orioles waiting their opportunity to play Hopkins next year. We head to inning number 7, 2-1 lead here, and we've got a new pitcher for Wayzata, as well as Turner McIntosh will come on in relief. You can't say Ask is coming out because he was faltering, that's for sure. He struck out the last 5 hitters that he faced.
Yeah, I bet you his pitch count had to be getting up there too. He's quite a few strikeouts, and Armstrong had quite a few runners throughout this afternoon too, so definitely want to save those pitches. Jay Cosgriff playing these lovely tunes this afternoon, and he's one of the best in the area when it comes to playing music at these ball games, I tell you.
Batting for the Armstrong Falcons, center fielder, number 8, Jordan Payne.
I have to admit, that's something I love about high school sports. Here's a guy who is a state championship winning girls basketball coach in the winter.
He's just so passionate about it, yeah.
And in the spring, he's the PA guy for the baseball team.
He just loves being a part of the action and activities.
Page takes a strike. Jordan Page walked his first couple of times and then struck out last time. Obviously, all those against Blake Ask, the starter for Wayzata. Takes that one low for a ball.
Yeah, going back to Kaz, I've known him for 20 years. And, he just always, I TA'd for him my senior year at Hopkins, and he just always loves being a part of that action and, finding out what people are doing and, talking to everybody at the games. He's just a fun guy to see around. And he's got good music taste, I guess. I haven't heard any of your songs yet, though. No Journey. You don't want to talk music?
There's a strike.
Jacobson was trying to get somebody to commit to going to a concert with you this summer. He said he said you're going to take me out to a Journey or something else. I can't remember what else he said. Ozzy Osbourne, maybe.
Pitch taken low for a ball there. 3-2. Ooh, close one there, and Page walks for the 3rd time this afternoon. That took some guts to take that pitch.
Tough pitch to take, but good eye, just outside and up, I believe. And not the way you want to start if you're the reliever, is giving up a leadoff walk here. And you don't want to see him start thinking about this too much, coming in late in the game and his team already down a run. So you want to see him start throwing more strikes and not give up any more base on balls.
Jensen, the hitter here for Armstrong, with Page aboard. They're clinging to a 2-1 lead. They would love to add, at least one insurance run here.
I think you just want to connect here. Hey, we got a runner on base. Make sure we're on the same page. Don't let a ball get by you. If I'm going to throw a curveball, that's what you got to do. Throw a fastball. Get this taken care of before anybody gets down to second base if that opportunity arises. I wouldn't be surprised to see Armstrong try and drop down a bunt here either.
He does attempt to bunt, misses it, throw to first, not in time. The throw is a little bit high. If that would have been right at, thigh level or so, they may very well have been able to slap that tag on.
Yeah, I think they caught him leaning the wrong direction, and a good strong throw down towards the bag probably would have gotten the out, but not what happened, and so the runner stays alive and at first base.
Jensen lining it to center, but it's going to hang up and be easily playable there for out number 1.
Next up for the Falcons.
As Albert got a good read on that one all the way. And Drew Ide will be the hitter here for Armstrong. Boy, that previous one, Jensen, it was weird. It was like it was almost like a squeeze play where he felt like he needed a bunt no matter where it was because it was way out of the strike zone and he lunged at it.
Yeah, it was way off the plate and he tried to still put his bat on it.
Ide has been pretty good today, 2 for 3. Obviously, we go to lefty now for Wayzata on in relief, so a little bit tougher to run on in theory. That one inside, Brolin had to really lunge for that one.
He's looking at the bench saying, I probably should have taken that one, huh? Taking that one right on the hip. Like you said earlier, it's easier to say than actually do, but do anything you can to get on base, especially in a game this close.
McIntosh going to throw to first there. Well, fortunately for us, your brain tells you to get out of the way when something's flying at you. So that's, generally a good thing, but you sometimes have to try and override that if you're a baseball player wanting to get hit by a pitch. Delayed steal. Here comes the throw, and it's a little bit off target, and Page will swipe second. Boy, that was an interesting, he did not go immediately, and it really caught Wayzata off guard, so Brolin's throw didn't have a lot on it.
Yeah, he didn't. I don't think he really even got up and got out of his stance to make a good strong throw, but that delayed steal is, if you can do it well, it's a pretty tricky deceiving play.
Puts him into scoring position here for Ide. Ide will lift one to center, and catch made there by Albert for out number 2, and that will leave it to Pertula.
Yeah, nice play by Albert there. He got a good read off the ball and carried a little further than I think he thought it initially was going to go, but made the adjustment and tracked it down to get the second out.
I think the sun just a little bit less of an issue at the moment as it's kind of drifted behind some clouds there. So Pertula 0 for 3, but a chance to maybe knock in a run. Although, as we've said all game long, there have been chances and not so many have come through for either team.
Yeah, definitely a lot of action, a lot of activity, an exciting game. And I mean, usually a 2-1 game, not a lot of activity, but definitely a lot of runners on base paths this afternoon between these two teams.
Caught in a miss there.
Nice job to wait back on that breaking ball. Just didn't see it come across the plate and put the bat on the ball, but timed it well.
0-2 count here is McIntosh trying to work around that leadoff walk and give his team a better chance in the bottom of the 7th. Ball broke just around the plate there, 1-2.
Originally I was thinking I wasn't a fan of that low fence out in left field, but I kind of like that look of the other teams kind of hanging out over there. It brings an extra little bit of a atmosphere and energy to this game.
Tap or foul, although we did see the downside of that earlier with that ground rule double. That one-two count again here. McIntosh delivering to Pertula. Outside with that one, 2-2.
Yeah, he's stressing too much, trying to overthrow and pinpoint accuracy. Just throw the ball and you try and get those strikes. Just trust your talent.
Page, of course, with 2 outs can be taken off, get himself a good start to trying to score here on a ball hit to the outfield.
Yeah, anything in the outfield, that should be a run, but you never know.
It's not really getting as big of a lead as I would have thought in this situation.
Yeah, definitely not a secondary lead, much of a secondary lead either.
Yeah, it is. It takes no water.
Yeah, but it's also made out of
Full count pitch upcoming here to the Armstrong third baseman, Pertula. And a swing and a miss, and McIntosh gets him on strikes. So the Falcons are done in the 7th. No runs, no hits, 1 left on base. We go to the bottom of 7. Armstrong holding a 2-1 lead.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Armstrong holding a 2-1 lead as we go to the bottom half of the 7th here in this second round game in the Section 6-4A tournament. Wayzata is the top seed. They trail at 2-1, but one more opportunity here. The 9-1 and 2 spots due up here for the Trojans. Gullickson, Stamp, and Nickel facing Armstrong reliever Colin Spellman, who was pretty good in the 6th inning when he came in. Got a grounder to short, a strikeout, and then did a nice job coming off the mound to field a little dribbler and threw the runner out fairly easily. So now on the flip side, Gullickson has been good, nine hitter, but he is 2 for 2 here.
Yeah, it's nice to have that at the bottom of the order and getting a couple hits out of your 9 spot, and then hopefully turn it over with the top of the order carrying through. And this is where Wayzata wants to be. I mean, obviously they don't want to be down 2-1 in the last inning, but this is the part of the order. You have a hot hitter this afternoon at the plate, and then you get the top of the order to follow him up.
Spellman's first offering is down low for a ball. Armstrong's only gotten the leadoff hitter twice in the first 6 innings. So kind of a big key, I think, early in this. Ooh, and this one lifted to left. And it'll hang up and be catchable, and Jensen able to haul that one in. So 1 gone here. Relatively well hit by Gullickson, but basically right at the left fielder, and Cullen Stamp will be the batter.
Yeah, good solid swing, good contact. I think he just caught it off the end of the bat, didn't catch that sweet spot of the bat, and the result was a easy fly ball for the left fielder to track down.
Stamp had a single. He scored the only run of the game for Wayzata back in the 5th inning. And did he go at that one? Yes, he did. The pitch was way outside, but he swung and missed. Spellman throwing what we were trying to determine. It almost looks like a palm ball or a...
Yeah, it's definitely not a typical breaking ball or off-speed pitch, but...
And this one lined up the middle. Great diving stop. Here's the throw, and he got him. Eyed with a tremendous play. We saw Nickel with a great one, his counterpart earlier in the game, and I didn't think there was any way that he was going to get that one.
I didn't think he had a chance. That was such a great snag. That's 2 great plays by your shortstops.
Yeah, this was about as good as it gets considering the situation, and also he's just able to get the runner there as well. I mean, I thought this was, again, like the one I said with Nickel, is a good enough play even just to stop it, and then he gets the out.
You guys will have to make a post edit and put those side by side for plays of the week.
Keegan Nickel is the batter now. It's down to him as their last opportunity here, perhaps. Got a double his first time up, last time hit by a pitch. High chopper. It's going to be a fair ball. Fliss up with it. Not in time. An infield hit keeps the game alive for Nickel. Boy, and this was a tough one for Fliss. I don't think this ball was going to go foul, so he didn't really have much choice but to play it.
Yeah, I think there was just a slight hesitation between the two and the communication there and who's going to field it. And I think that's what cost them the opportunity to get the out. Yeah, you see a little hesitation. He made the decision to go with the throw and wasn't able to get him.
Brendan Albert, the batter here for Wayzata. Fliss able to block that one.
Now, if you're Wayzata, you don't want to run yourself out of a situation here, but you definitely want to force things here because Armstrong feels the pressure here with that runner on base.
Nickel did steal a base, actually stole third when he got on earlier after doubling. There's a fastball for a strike.
Because if you put that runner in motion with 2 outs on the crack of the bat, they can come around and possibly score on a single hit to the outfield that's not directly at the outfielder.
Breaking ball, tap foul down the third baseline. So now down to 1-2 count here. Spellman trying to nail down a win. Albert trying to keep the game going, maybe tie it up. Tried to get him to chase. Wouldn't go for it. 2-2.
That's been the pitch all day for both sides, is that breaking ball off the outside part of the plate. That time the batter laid off it to stay alive.
Comes back, fastball and a called third strike, and Albert caught looking, and Armstrong will win it. Spellman gets out of a little mini jam on the bottom of the seventh. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left aboard. So Wayzata has not done much losing in this Section 6 tournament in the last few years. And Armstrong able to knock him off and knock him into the loser's bracket with a 2-1 win. Another look at that one.
Yeah, it's a good pitch. It's down at the knees, but with 2 strikes, you want to protect the plate. Got that third strike called, and great battle this afternoon between 2 teams. Same record coming in. Armstrong the 4 seed, Wayzata the 1 seed, and like we said in the pregame and early in the game, seeding really didn't matter because all 4 of these top 4 teams in this section are pretty evenly matched, and we saw that today, and just a couple key plays helped Armstrong come out on top this afternoon.
So the Falcons move into the winner's bracket final. Wayzata, of course, still alive in the tournament as well, and we invite you to watch the Hopkins-St. Louis Park game coming up as well. John Jacobson will slide into the play-by-play spot here to work with Drew for that one. We hope you've enjoyed this one as Armstrong winning it 2-1 over Wayzata. That'll do it for now from Hopkins High School here on CCX Sports.